This is one thing you sent me. Social contagion is this idea that we catch ideas like a virus or if you flu, we catch ideas, beliefs, and behaviors from people around us. And if you combine that with psychosomatic influence, there was apparently this rise in back pain in the 1970s to 1990s because there were these big campaigns and a lot of cultural talk about people having back pain and that you should stop lifting stuff, you should rest more, stay on the couch a little bit. And this woman here, you linked this video, had back pain for 30 years and was diagnosed even with a herniated disc. And then this happened.
Her doctor advised cortisone shots in her spine.
And right around that same time, someone had handed me Dr. Sarno's book, Healing Back Pain.
And just 30 pages into the book, she says she knew she had what Dr. Sarno now calls tension myoneural syndrome, or TMS.
The brain simply decides, I'm going to reduce the blood flow to these spinal nerves down in the low back area, and that will produce pain. And it's very simple and fortunately very benign.
So this is crazy to me. And it makes me again think, where else are we a victim of social contagion, and then including that with psychosomatic effects where just believing the problem exists, it becomes a problem. And one of the other things you linked is, this is where my mind went first as well, is divorce contagious? As if married people don't have enough to worry about, a new study suggested that divorce of a friend or a close relative dramatically increases the chances that you too will divorce.
There was some crazy stat in there that even if it's not people you know, like let's say you were married and you got divorced, obviously that would impact me. But if one of your friends, who I never met them, got divorced, that would still increase my likelihood.
Oh. What kind of friends do you have,
It can
John?
go through. I have very happily married friends, and that's basically half of them. Then the other half are just don't have their together. But accidental incel, yeah. But
yeah. Accidental. I mean, isn't it always accidental?
I guess that's what the N stands for, yeah.
Yes. It's an accel. I'm an accel. Accidentally celibate.
I'm a decel, deliberately celibate.
I also heard this thing, Chris Williamson, he interviewed somebody on his show that said, who has the most impact on your children? It's not your friends' children. It's not the parents. It's the parents of your friends' children. Their cousin and that cousin's uncle. No, I'm kidding. It ended with, can you imagine? You're just completely outside of your control. It's the uncle of your cousin's niece, who was the sister that you went to high school with. That person has the most impact. No, it's the parents of your children's friends. Because the parents of your children's friends, so just to simplify it, there's parents, and they raise their child, and then that child is friends with a kid, and that kid is your kid. And because that kid was raised a certain way, it then affects your child. This sounds very complicated, but I'm just wondering, what are some of the ideas that we've picked up? Because it's just in the collective consciousness. It's just in our culture, right? Back pain being one of them. And it's funny, like this doctor literally talks about how your brain then produces or supplies less blood flow to that area of the back. So you feel the back pain, like the back pain gets created, right? And it has such a wild effect, like this whole mind over matter thing, like to the point where you hear of experiments where they blindfold people and they tell them, hey, I have these hot coals, and they put it on the skin, and then the skin gets burned, and they're like, oh, what? And they look at their skin, and the skin is burned off, and there's like a burn mark. And then they take off the blindfold, and they realize it was ice cubes.
Wow.
So they just thought it was hot coals, but it was ice cubes. And so, the sensation of an ice cube could feel like a burn, but the body literally reacted with a blister. And
that's insane.
Man, it gets me a little curious. So one of the things I thought about was, again, divorce. And another thing that I'm starting to hear, that I'm going to be turning 30 in a few months, is that, man, I heard this recently. sitting together with a few friends, and this new guy was there, and he was like, yeah, when you're 30, that's when, you start feeling a little bit of pain and stuff, And I was just like, no, get away from me. I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, if you're the kind of person that says in your 30s and 40s, things start going downhill, I'm going to run in the opposite direction with full force, like Naruto run, like anime character run. Like, I want nothing to do with you. Another one is, I saw Tim Ferriss recently uploaded this self-experiment that he did, where he hired a pickup artist to find a partner and learn about dating. And that was like, I mean, maybe you can pull that up. How many years ago did he do that experiment?
I think like 10 years ago. That was part of his TV show that he did.
Yeah, and he just recently re-uploaded it like a year ago, I think. And one of the first things he said is, nowadays dating is hard. And I'm like, we say that today as well. Is it possible that we've always said that and we just think it's just difficult, but it actually isn't that difficult? And it's just is. And so we tell ourselves, yeah, it's really difficult. Like, for example, I have a friend of mine who he hasn't gone on a date in 3 years. Accidentally. He's an Axel. But I was in a similar spot after a breakup. I was like, hey, I'm not going to date for a while. It's also very tough nowadays. And so for a year, I was just like, hey, no, I'm just going to focus on my business. I'm not going to get active. And you start believing these ideas that what if it isn't that difficult? Same thing with there's this narrative going around that is very prevalent that women, it's not safe to approach women anymore. And there's definitely some truth to it, right? Because, it's very easy to get canceled, like, a woman pulls out her phone or feels like you harassed her just because you said hi. We hear these stories, but I've never actually experienced that. And I think it's also just an easy excuse for guys to just be a pussy.
Definitely.
And just like, I don't approach women because of this feminism thing. And it's like, yes, you're not wrong that this is happening, but it happens so little, and that's not the reason why you're not doing it.
Yeah, I think I'm not qualified to give any kind of dating advice, because my dating advice is go to Columbia College in 2014, stay on your floor, you'll meet her. She's right next door. Like,
wait, that's how you met your fiance?
Yeah, and we've been together it'll be 10 years in a month and a half. So I have no experience dating at all. From what I hear, it's not that fun.
What is the term for that, by the way? That's so beautiful. I didn't know that about you. That's beautiful. So if there's incels, what are you?
I am better than you. God loves me more. That's what it is.
There's got to be a term for it.
I'm a chosen one.
Accidentally happily ever after. Like, there's got to be an acronym for that. It's going to be an ax romantic. I don't know. There's something. We'll find something. Put it in the comments, please. But there's people like that, yeah. But what would be your advice? You were ready to drop some producer advice here.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel this is going to sound so boomery of me. Maybe it's because I'm approaching 30 and the boomerism is approaching, like your friend said. But I don't know. Like, it's I don't want to say it's not hard, because obviously for a lot of people it's very difficult. And I tried zero, so there was a bunch of luck for me. But like, I just think sometimes the way you do things is just not helpful. And we have this narrative now, this could also be social contagion, that the only way you're ever going to meet people is going on the apps. And then we all tell ourselves the apps suck. So you're already priming yourself like, this is the only way to do the thing, and it doesn't work. So I don't know, maybe being the one person who's willing to try something completely different could work out well for you. I'm not suggesting you go, hit on your coworkers necessarily if you think that'll get you in trouble, but there's got to be another way.
I have a strong rule. Well, I should say I had a strong rule when I was single. I don't hit on, or don't even flirt with women that are at any sort of work environment. Obviously, would never do that if I had a job. But even when I'm at a restaurant, like the waitress, like it's just she can't leave. She can't, like she's obligated to be nice. It's like, no. But anyways, this whole idea connects to what we talked about in the last episode on the book that talks about how smoking is not actually difficult to quit. And just you thinking that it's this addictive thing, it brainwashed people, the companies brainwashed people that way to retain them as customers, where they just gave them an easy excuse saying cigarettes are really addictive, it's so difficult to quit, and any attempt that they made was just easily rationalized or excused to just go back to it, right? And I think it's one of these things again. We have this easily, readily available excuse or victimhood that we just all agree upon. And we're like, yeah, dating's hard. What if it isn't? Can I challenge that? No matter what you look like, no matter if you're whatever requirements you think you have to fulfill, what if it's actually quite simple? What if you could just go out and approach 10 strangers a day and just say hi? And then if you do that for a week or a month, you're gonna have somebody to wake up next to, right?
Well, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like if you think something's hard, you're going to approach it from being anxious or unsure or thinking you'll fail. And then that comes true.
100%. And so same thing for business. Like what would be a social contagion or a psychosomatic thing in business, right? Is it that, I have to work all these difficult hours and that it has to be a struggle? What if it can be quite simple? What if it could be? What if it could be easy? And this is not talking about, little shortcuts, little gimmicks of, hey, I'm going to teach you. No, we're not selling a course. And, but I look at a lot of the stuff that I work on when I'm working really hard, and I look back and I'm like, yeah, had I done a bit of reflection, I actually didn't need to do that. And a lot of it was out of guilt and out of, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how you have to do it. And, I probably could have made my journey a lot simpler. And I don't know, something to think about.
There's the one you kicked the segment off with was back pain, and I sent you that book because I read that book when I had I was like 16 years old having back pain. I'm like, I'm not even 30 yet. Why is this happening? Like it makes no sense. Like how does a 16-year-old and I think like one day I like leaned back in my chair in the classroom to like pop my back and I just went into full spasm. It was crazy. And so maybe I did adjust something bad and that one was physical, but then every few months I'd get these crazy spasms where I'd be like walking around sideways for like a week and a half. And my job over the summer was being a camp counselor for kids and like riding bikes and playing soccer with kids. So it's like not being able to walk standing up straight doesn't really fit in well in that environment.
Yeah, you look like Quasimodo, and all these parents look at you and like, we're giving our kids to this guy? And you're like, come here, kids, follow me into the forest.
Dude, I looked like a freak. It was crazy. And so, and then of course that makes you get all down on yourself and you're beating yourself up. And then one day, my brother, he worked on a TV show and he was like, you're going to come work with me today. And his job was, do you know that slime stuff, the oobleck or whatever that like kids play? They were doing like a science TV show, and that episode was about oobleck. And so they were going to see if they could like jump a motorcycle over the oobleck or whatever. So I needed to dig the pit that they were going to put the oobleck in. So helping work on a TV show was actually, you're going to dig a hole for 12 hours. And I had the back pain that day. And I was like, I don't think I can do it. And he's like, well, that sucks because it's your job today. And I'm like, but my back hurts. And he's like, don't be a pussy. I'm like, okay. And by the end of the day, the back pain was gone. And I was like, that's so strange. That could have very well been physical, like reactivating the muscle reminded my brain that it existed. But when I read the book, it was like, one of the things he says is you have to tell your back to stop.
No.
It's like, dude, just stop.
No.
I know you're spasming.
Bad
Stop.
back.
Just get it together.
I have a couple of those stories too. When I was backpacking in Australia, this was one of the toughest jobs I've ever done. I was literally digging holes. That was my job. Digging holes and carrying extremely heavy metal poles to create these sunshades. these like
Oh, wow.
they look like sails, and they're like sunshades, and you had to dig a really deep hole and then carry these massive pipes. And it was Christmas Eve. I was working on Christmas Eve because the guy was just a workaholic, and same thing here. I had back pain even as a 12-year-old. I remember hysterically crying one day because I had such back pain because I pulled my back from my backpack and I couldn't breathe. Like the moment I would breathe in, I had this sharp pain, and it's always the same muscle, and I still have it at some points. And in the video they also talked about how it might be repressed emotions, so maybe there's trauma.
Don't tell Joseph Everett.
Yeah. And long story short, the guy said, "We have to get this done, and if you can't get this done, I'm just gonna get someone else. So get over it." And I was like, I can't breathe. I had this massive metal pipe on my shoulder, and it just and I couldn't breathe anymore. And then I just kept going, and I made it happen. And my back pain didn't go away. But another time, I pulled my back doing deadlifts. I was out for 9 months, and then years later, same thing happened. I was doing deadlifts. I felt the exact same pain. I was like, oh no, I'm going to be out for 9 months again. It's going to be terrible. Like 9 months of continuous pain and not being able to do certain lifts, right? And I immediately went online and I looked up, okay, this just happened. What do I do? And this guy said, okay, lower your weights, put about half the weight, and then just keep exercising and do it immediately. Don't wait. Don't sit down. And I was like, okay. He said it with a lot of confidence, so it must be true. And I went and did more deadlifts, half the weight, and the pain just went away. And this is not advice. If you are breaking your back, don't run to a squat rack. But it's like this reinforcing loop where you have back pain, you stop moving, you sit more, you rest more, but you actually want to do the opposite. You want to move more. And that's what they did in the campaigns, right? They told people, stop lifting stuff, rest more. But it's like, no, you actually need to move more. And I thought that was interesting. And again, I want to extrapolate that towards where else does that apply in our lives, right?
Earlier, you were saying that the main cause for how your kids' behavior is, you said it was like your friends, parents, it was someone. I didn't quite get it, so I looked up a video while you were talking and I figured it out. This is who it is.
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
You will be tested, so please remember that. That's who influences your kids.
I love that. That's perfect. Oh, God. Yeah. So we can always be a victim. We can always find somebody's, another thing I thought about was how sometimes certain problems arise from the problem being a problem.
Yeah.
Basically, you think something's a problem, and then it becomes a problem. For example, trauma, right? It used to be back pain that people would rave about, and just like, everybody has back pain. Back pain is so terrible, and you have to focus on the back pain. And now it's trauma. This person researched trauma for 30 years, and you thought you had a good childhood. You may have, but you're still super traumatized. And man, I think it's the same thing for a lot of people. Obviously, again, disclaimer: if something really horrible happened, yeah, that affects you 100%. But I think just focusing on it. Right? Like, oh, it's like I'm diagnosed with low self-esteem. No, you're a human being. I don't know a single human being who doesn't have low self-esteem in certain areas or at certain times. It's just completely normal. It's just we have a brain, we have an ego. It's normal. But when you think, oh, I have this thing, I have low self-esteem, it becomes a problem. And especially when I hear friends of mine saying, oh man, like I've got this problem where my brain, I can't focus. It takes me like 10 minutes to really get into a task, and then I can start to focus. But my brain, and I just tell them like, that's everybody. No, but I've got this thing. I've got this ADHD. I've got this so and so. I've got this whatever. Right? It's like, everybody. That's normal. Yeah, but I also have this thing where I'm procrastinating. I'm like, I always avoid. Dude, I always avoid it until the last moment. It's like, okay, that's everybody does that. And so, but the moment you think I have this problem and you don't have the right expectations, your expectations are off, that's when you just unnecessarily suffer, and it becomes an easy excuse, an easy out, rather than just like, oh, this is just normal and everybody has it. And, you know, that's just another skill to learn.
Yeah, if you can turning something from this is just how the human brain works for at least a majority of people into like, this is an affliction that God has cursed me with specifically, you know, it's like, yeah, the human brain didn't evolve to sit at a desk for several hours and focus on a computer. Like, that's normal that you might have 10 or 15 minutes of lag time trying to get into it. That's indeed the skill, right? Is you have to tell yourself, oh, if I'm going to do a task that takes 3 hours, maybe you should schedule 3.5 so you can take a break or do a little warm up and get into it. Like, that's just part of it. And turning that into like, I'm a special snowflake, I can't focus, my brain doesn't work. That's not going to help you do that.
And I want to be clear about that too. I am a massive victim. I'm a victim of that too. Let me be a victim too. And for me, like everyone has their own kryptonite, right? Like I can look at people who are overweight and they can't stick to a diet, and I'm just like, oh, that's the easiest thing for me. Whereas they are masters at sleeping and winding down and resting. And for me, man, I, like you know this, had a bad bout of sleep again for the last week or two. And it's stress. It's a lot of stress in the business and other things that I'm worried about. And that is also one thing where I tell myself, yeah, that I have this problem. But I just think I have certain patterns and behaviors, and I know this now. Or I've known this for the past couple of years. I finally uncovered it. Like, oh, wait, I'm responsible for this. It's not that, you know, my brain is just wired a certain way. And it may be. I've always been like hyperactive and, you know, like compared to my siblings, I would wake up earlier and I would go to bed later, and I was just always like restless. But in the end, it really comes down to just, hey, I'm telling myself there's something wrong with my brain or me. And that's what CBT is all about. CBT for insomnia is just rewiring those beliefs and, yeah, things that you're telling yourself, and also just in general, rewiring or reframing certain thoughts. Cool. Yeah. Just so, you know, it doesn't sound like we're just judging people. They have these idiots. But yeah, if you're new here, this is the Driven Podcast. And as you can tell, you know, we're all about over-optimizing the overachievers so they can achieve their goals faster and have even less fun and enjoy the journey even less, so that once they achieve their goals, they can be extra miserable when they realize, oh, I thought once I achieve this, then I'll be happy. And so it's just a double whammy. That's what we're going for. Just like be miserable now, and then also later when you achieve your goals. So share it with a friend. If you know somebody like this, share it with them. This is the best way that we grow the show. And man, I put together this focus group. I mentioned it a few episodes ago. Focus group being basically I talk to 3 to 4 subscribers a week about, hey, what do you think of the episode? What do you think we should talk about next? And this has been really good. It's been really supportive, and it's really cool to see people who are listening every week. And also it's super valuable. It's the thing that Sam Ovens talked about, where he said, like, I asked him, how do you make decisions? And he's like, yeah, I mean, just talk to people. Because, you know, they made this new school VSL video, this video selling school as a platform. And he thought it was great. He showed it to people. They all hated it. And then he adjusted it, and then people liked it. And so many decisions were made or are made in the podcast, or for me, or whatever, right? Or any business you start where you're just like, I think people want this and they like this. And then you can just ask them, and they'll just tell you. And it's been, dude, it's just the ultimate hack. Just
what are they
asking
telling
people. They really like the episodes where I present topics and there's a conversation, and, you know, and you're here, and then it feels like a conversation, and I bring some new things that I found and new things to think about. And who knows, maybe this episode is already terrible, but yeah, like they really like those episodes. And it's also because they have been following for a while, right? they've known me, they've built up some trust and some, so I don't think it'll be the case for new people. That's why, we want to do the guest episodes to bring in new people, and hopefully they'll want to listen to this as well. But if not, that's cool too. But that's been a really good thing. And they don't just want to hear updates about what's happening with the podcast or behind the scenes. It has to be tied to an insight. It has to be tied to something that can relate back to them, which I think I've always been good at. It's just, it's always something I've been very aware of, is how does this apply to the audience, right? And so, but I think same thing and even now I'm doing this, even now, like watch me do this. I'm like, even if you don't have a business, but you're in a relationship with somebody, just asking them, hey, how am I doing as a partner? What do you need? Like you can literally have a focus group. Like instead of wondering, is this girl I'm dating, is she happy with me? Is my boyfriend, is he happy in this relationship? Just ask them.
Just get all 4 or 5 of your wives together and ask them.
Exactly. Send out a Google form. They can all fill it out the same way. But it's funny because when relationships end, you could have usually seen it coming. Somebody did this. They had this routine with their partner where every week they would sit down and they would check in. Like, hey, rate me on a scale from 1 to 10. How much love do you feel? How connected? How much passion and excitement? How much, like the things that you need for a relationship. You need connection and trust. That's one thing. But you also need the opposite, which is mystery and attraction and passion, right? And it requires a different set of actions, right? And you can just ask them. And if they tell you, I don't know, I haven't been feeling that much, then you can immediately adjust. It's like the frog analogy where you put him in water and you slowly boil it. He's never going to jump out because it just slowly increases. I don't know if that's even true, but we'll just go with it, right?
We can test it. That can be a segment. We will. I'll get a frog over here and I'll just slowly boil it throughout the episode. And if it's alive at the end, we'll know it's false.
Yes.
We'll just. We can great, tie that with a segment on Eat the Frog on productivity. So if the frog survives the boiling, then it will unfortunately be eaten alive.
I love that. I think so. If you're on audio, you can tell that I made a sad attempt at making the studio better.
And it's turned the lights off.
It's very dark in the background, right? So we're still figuring it out. We need to block out the window here, but I have a standing setup now. In the background, I have a fancy lamp, and it's very dark. You're right.
Are you standing now?
But yeah, I'm standing.
Oh, I might start standing.
You're sitting? Oh,
yeah.
Is your back hurting?
Getting like shoulder blade.
Yeah.
And then I feel stupid because every 5 minutes in the episode, I look at myself. I'm like, I look like a hunchback, and then I go like this, and I'm like, oh, now you're preening. Stop somewhere in the middle.
But yeah, we're working on the studio, improving it. But I think I would love to have hidden items in the background that are like inside jokes or insiders. Like for example, I would love to. What if I had a glass with like a water glass, what do you call those? Like preservative glass, and there's a frog in it, and it's like bubbling. It looks like it's boiling. That would be.
Oh, that's fun.
That'd be cool. Dude, recent update as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people are getting sick that are crushing it. They're getting sick. They're making millions of dollars, and then they're getting sick. For example, Chris Williamson, he just put out a Q&A where he answers that he's been sick for the past 18 months, and it's been really tough. And he finally got more clarity on it. And it's one is Lyme disease diagnosis.
Oh, wow.
Lyme disease you get from being bitten by a tick. And I think Lyme disease is kind of a roll of the dice of symptoms. You can feel, it's like completely just randomized. You can feel horrible. It can be just a little bit, it can really mess people up.
I'm from where Lyme disease was, I'm from Connecticut, and they have 4 towns named after Lyme disease because the guy who discovered Lyme disease. They have Lyme, Old Lyme, East Lyme, and Had Lyme. And they're all next to each other. There's like a cluster of towns. Had Lyme. So when you get Lyme, you go to Lyme. and then when you recover, you move all your, you get a U-Haul and you go to Hadline. But if you're a senior citizen, you go to Old Line.
It's funny because I had the exact same joke lined up, but I just let you run with it, and I'm like, yep.
That's what Avril Lavigne had. It ruined her. They had to clone her to recover what little there was left. Like, Lyme disease can fuck you up.
Yeah, and so apparently it's been dormant in him, and he's just been, it's been a part-time job, he said, finding treatments and figuring this out, right? And the cause of it is just an overload of his immune system. So he was dysregulated for a long time, just very stressed. And then he got, like, he was living in a moldy house, got Epstein-Barr virus, CMV, which is cytomegalovirus, which most people are exposed to. But if you have a good immune system, you know, it's no trouble. Heavy metals, stuff like that, like a bunch of stuff that he listed off. And yeah, he did a cortisol test as well, and apparently it looks like he's been dysregulated long enough for him to for his, almost like his melatonin and cortisol rhythm to kind of flip, right? Where in the mornings when cortisol should spike, he's groggy, and you know the cortisol isn't spiking. But in the evenings when melatonin is supposed to drip through your brain to make you fall asleep, he gets anxious, right? And so I looked at myself today. I mean, being sleep deprived, I'm like, oh man, like I don't want to get sick to the point where I have to look for a solution for months or years. Like I know friends like this, right? Brian Johnson is somebody similar, right? He wrecked his health, made hundreds of millions of dollars, and then now he's just doing the craziest things to reverse it. And Layla Hormozi, she also got sick. I don't know what it is, but she's been working like crazy, and something to be aware of. And what that makes me think of is, I think sometimes to win the race, or not sometimes, oftentimes, to win the race, it's not about how can I run faster than everybody else, but how can I not sprain my ankle? Because there's people that take off next to you and you're like, oh my God, I should be running so much faster. But 3/4 through the race, they're gonna sprain their ankle and they're gonna be humping, you know? Or no, what do you call it? Like, humping is not the right word. They're gonna be
yeah, they pulled over to the side and they met another racer they liked very much. No,
what do you call it? They're gonna be
limping.
Limping. I don't know why I thought humping. That's my dysregulated brain. But I'm not going to put that in there because it's psychosomatic.
Bro, you got Lyme disease brain.
Yeah.
You got mold brain, dude. You got seed oil brain. You got trauma.
I have I've been diagnosed with everything. But yeah, Chris is, I mean, I wish him the best. It's
Is there something in the water in Austin? Because it's all Austin people you're mentioning that are having these problems. I don't know anyone with these problems.
Mold is a big issue in the US. 80% of households have mold. And if I move into a new place, which I'm planning on in the next 3 months, it must be a fairly new place. Like this apartment that I'm living in, I'm the second person to live in it. If there was any sign of mold, I would not move in. But long story short, I think it's one of these questions to ask yourself when you're pursuing anything is, what are the most common pitfalls? And how can I just avoid them? Not how can I be faster and better, and you know, but just avoiding the big mistakes. I think, you know, it's like the Amazon idea, which they took from Navy SEALs, is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. How can I just not sprain my ankle? How can I just not get sick? How can I just not fall into the pit? And just therefore, in the long run, outpace everyone. For YouTube, for example, it's very clear, just don't burn out. Like, that's what happened to me. Oopsie. If like, and the writing is on the wall. All the creators, they're saying the same things. I was making videos I wasn't passionate about anymore, but they were getting views, and I was burnt out. If you can sacrifice short-term results so that you make stuff that you're passionate about, but some people are going to complain. They're going to say, hey, make another one, make another prank, whatever content you make. And you just swallow that and you're like, no, I'm going to do it for the long run. You're going to win, right? Same thing with business. In business, one of the most common pitfalls and mistakes that I think every entrepreneur has to go through is overhiring. I've gone through it. I took out $100,000 loan from a friend of mine and blew it on staff for about a year, and I'm still paying it off.
Now you're just blowing your own money on me. I'm not
Exactly.
loan wasting. I'm your deep nest egg personal money wasting.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's my actually the fund for my kids in the future. That's goes
Well, they're not
goes
here
into your
yet.
account now. Exactly. They don't know yet. They can't feel the pain yet.
That's right.
Yeah, like what has the biggest impact over your children? It's your producer.
It's dad's employees, actually.
Yeah.
No, what you're saying is so true. Like, and I mean, I know you use the metaphor of a race, but literal example of a race. I like doing like Spartan races, right? Like obstacle course races, like in the mountains and stuff. Climb up a mountain, go to monkey bars, that kind of thing. And one race was in Mount Vernon, New Jersey, very steep mountainous area in New Jersey, and it was in an October rainstorm. And so, for insurance reasons, if it's ever under the freezing mark, under 32 Fahrenheit, they cancel the race. Because if people get hurt and it's freezing,
Like they just expose everything on Twitter, canceled, or
no, like the insurance company is like, you can't do the race because we won't cover people getting hypothermia on purpose. So that's it. It was 33 degrees, pouring rain. So it was just like, oh, it's just warm enough that we're gonna make you all get hypothermia, and it's we're fine. So I'm like, okay, we're doing the race. We paid for it. We're out here. I don't care. And I knew as soon as I got out there, I'm like, if I bust my load trying to sprint up a mountain in freezing rain, that's an 8-mile race, I'm going to hurt myself and I'm not going to make it, and it's going to be really stupid. So even though normally I run, I'm going to walk this whole goddamn time. And my only thing I'm going to be saying to myself is just don't quit. And all I need to do is make it to the halfway point, because then it's the same amount of work to get to quit as it is to finish. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to walk from here to the finish point, and then I've won the race. And lo and behold, everyone else who was trying to run, and they're like, I'm going to get through it quickly because it's cold and shitty. And everyone who is not meeting the situation where it was at, they got way ahead of me in the first half. And then by the time we hit the second half, I saw people with like broken legs, like on the side, like crying or like falling down the mountain because it was like,
or humping someone.
Humping. There was an orgy. They had to share body heat. But like falling down the mountain because it was like mudslides and stuff in the rain. And I'm just like, I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to go for a nice walk in the rain. And it worked.
Yeah. I'm just imagining you literally just go for a walk. Imagine you some hiker dude who's just like, I'm just enjoying my recreational activity. And you just walk and it's like, oh, it looks like there's a race going on. These people are cheering you on. Yeah. And you end up first in finish line, and everyone else is, sitting there with broken legs and humping each other for some reason.
Pretty much. And you should apply that to your life.
Yeah, exactly. Apply that to your life. And again, going back to the example of me breaking my back doing deadlifts. I was out for 9 months. It's like the worst thing you can do for building muscle and fitness is getting injured. So, and Dr. Mike Israetel was talking about this in the episode as well. We'll link it, or just look it up. Just look it up, viewer. Don't be lazy. He was saying that. It's not talked about enough. The ability to take breaks and how severe real burnout is, where it's almost like having PTSD from work, where people will never quite be the same again. Once you've truly burned out, you have this fear of working, and it's going to be very difficult for you to slowly approach it again and get back to a level that you've been to before. And he didn't want to say never, but it felt like, hey, like, it's really severe. It's like never have true burnout, like the kind of burnout where your body just gives out.
That's why, like, it's I get when, I mean, it's a little like cliche at this point to be like hustle culture bad, and there's more nuance than that, because there are times where you got to work your face off and get something done, and I get that. But like, it's a little rich seeing people who are like, you the key to success is you just work 16 hours a day and then you sleep and that's it. And you just do it over and over and over again. And then 2 years later, they're like, oh, I'm injured and depressed and anxious all the time and on meds and sick and have all these and it's like, well, everyone told you that was going to happen and you just called them pussies. So like I really don't feel that bad. I'm not saying that about Chris Williamson, that like Lyme disease sucks. So I'm not, just to clarify, not saying that about him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I feel like resting is really underrated, and that doesn't mean being lazy. But like you're allowed to have an off day from the gym. You're allowed to take a weekend from work. It doesn't. I don't think it makes you some kind of coward.
I'm in the same boat as Chris. I know what to do. I know I should be resting more, but I don't do it. And my trajectory looks like this is where I could also get really sick. And so now, for me, the responsible thing to do is go, no, rest. Don't, like, take the rest of the day off, which is what I'm going to do today on a Saturday. And then tomorrow as well. And I think maybe it's not even about just taking more breaks, but also just better breaks. You know, there's a way to relax and rest that is just unproductive. Which, of course, have to think of it in this way. But man, taking a break, like watching a movie, it can be good, right? But if you're watching a movie, you have your phone on the side, or you're like distracted, like it doesn't like. And obviously, social media, terrible way to have a break. Right, like scrolling, it continues to dysregulate you. I would take a break playing chess with my friend, and it's just another like high, like burning tons of calories in my brain and solving problems, and then dealing with him being a terrible winner who just like, I did the fried liver on you again. That move. I don't know if you've heard of that before, the fried liver, but that sucks.
What's the fried liver move in chess?
It's a very early on move that you do on newbies. And if you're a weasel, like my friend Brad from Discover Connection, he has a really successful YouTube channel. Not like my channel. It's basically, he looked it up online on how to beat your friends in an easy way where they don't even see it coming. And it's just, you position your bishop and your knight in a way, or no, the bishop and what's the horsey? Is that the knight?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, the horse.
I call it the horsey, but yes.
Yeah, horsey.
I call it the Nay Winnie.
And then you're just stuck after like 7 moves, and you're like, you're going to lose your queen or your checkmate. And it's like, ugh. And then he goes, yeah. And boom, there goes my day off. And I'm more pissed and more stressed. Also Mario Kart. Not good, especially when you're playing with Brad. Not good. It's like, I took a day off.
Your problem is Brad, not the activity, but
I think it is. It's like I'm more like I had a day off and I feel more stressed at the end.
Dude, I have the same thing. I'll be like, it's day off. I'm gonna try to watch a movie, and then it's 2 hours later, and I'm just like, I just spent 2 hours looking for a movie on Netflix, and now I'm very upset and stressed out. So I've added 50 things to my list, and I'm like doing pro-con lists on. It's like, what are you doing? Chess is so annoying. What you like, because what I'm assuming you're trying to do is play chess, right? And that's not what some people who are like good at chess try to do. They don't try to play chess. They are running the operation of chess. They already have it in their head. They've memorized all the things. For them, it's a memory like pop quiz. Like you get the flashcard, what's the answer, you flip it over. You're trying to like process it and do things and play a game.
Calculate it in my head.
They're not doing
intuition. They just feel the liver a little bit heating up, and they're like, oh, my liver is about to be fried with this fried liver move. It's just like tingling a little bit. I don't even need to think about it. It's in my bones. It's in my nervous system. Yeah, so I burned a lot of calories on that, and a lot of cortisol spent. Dude, this one thing you sent me, so good.
What was it?
Awkward pause while I'm pulling it up.
Oh. I mean, that could be the whole segment. You can just say nice things about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This dude's
$1 trillion business idea, passive income. I do 50 to 60 job interviews in here every day. There's a picture of a super scary, sketchy office with no windows. I never hire anyone, but about half the applicants buy a drink from the vending machine that is behind the desk after I subtly encourage them to. I make $300 a day in passive income with this method. Genius. I've listened to your feedback and taken it to heart. That's why I decided to hire one person each day That person will be given the important task of interviewing 50 to 60 other people per day in another room. They'll be compensated with a 20% commission from vending machines sales in the interview room for the day. Thank you for all the valuable feedback. I'm always willing to learn and get better. Wow. $1 trillion business idea. What would this look like at scale?
Frankly, I think it involves inviting all kinds of people to be guests on a podcast. I think we start there. I think we start with, let's lower our standard for podcast guests to 0. And then get 1,000 people on a show, and then what can we make them do?
Yeah, they have to, we have a proprietary microphone that they have to buy. And it's our microphone. But there's probably many ways you can grow a business like that. And you just crank it, you know? The most obscure products you can just sell through that. Let's see, what else we got? I listed something else. Oh, dude. Here's something I've been using unconsciously, or consciously, I should say, actually, where I feel most grateful when I think about a horrible thing happen, and then I just realize that hasn't happened. That's not a reality. So thank God. Like, I actually love waking up from nightmares because I realize, oh my God, that was just a dream. Do you have the same experience?
Of waking up from nightmares?
And then being really happy about it because it was just a dream?
Sometimes. I wake up from nightmares usually and I'm just like, why'd my brain do that to me? I'm like very upset.
Yeah, I think this is the most effective way that I've used gratitude practices. If I'm grateful for the things I already have, I'm like, okay, cool. But if I thought I had a disease or a sickness and I go get it checked and I don't have it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be so grateful. Like, for example, when I thought that I had hair loss because I looked at my hairline after getting all these ads, and all these ads told me, oh, look at your hairline, look at the back pain that you're having, whatever, right? Psychosomatic influence. Again, I thought my hairline was receding. Turns out I just have a big forehead. I looked at pictures from when I was 17, same hairline. It hasn't moved. But for a year, I was freaking out about it. And I'm so, like, I catch myself, like, I think a couple of days ago, I was in the shower and I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God I don't worry about that anymore, because thank God that was just in my head. So I think it'd be a good segment to do repeatedly, is just practicing extreme gratitude.
You should go clog the lines at emergency clinics and other such institutions where they test people for serious diseases, and you go knowing you don't have it, but you just want to be sure, and then you don't have it. And then you're like, yay. And then everyone else in line is like, I need to see a doctor. Stop.
But what can we be grateful for not being true? And this could be a little practice we do on the show, like every, for 2 minutes. For example, imagine in a parallel universe, there are also spiders that, can be as big as your hand, and they're hairy, but they wanna sting you like a mosquito. So when they see you, they come towards you. They're like, ooh, they're drawn to you, and you can also hear them like, I don't know if and imagine they had wings. They could fly. And they look for you. They attracted to humans. And they're just that big and they fly towards you. Imagine what
Leon, you're scaring me.
But picture this. This was actually a thing.
Like Minecraft spiders, but they're real.
Yeah. I'm so grateful that they don't exist. Isn't that great? Like,
what a relief.
Isn't that amazing? Like, I could genuinely be like, I'm so glad that doesn't exist. What a great world we live in. Do you feel does it work on you? Do you feel the gratitude, or?
I feel something. Yeah, I think that might be gratitude. I felt it in my lower chest.
It's relief. It's relief. No, but seriously, I think this is one of the best gratitude practices. Unfortunately, Alex Hormozi started talking about it too, and I was like, no, that was my thing. I've been doing this for years. I wanted to take credit for it. So now it looks like I'm just repeating what he's saying. But seriously, when sometimes I think about shortcomings that I feel like I have, but then when I look at people that have it way worse, I'm like, oh, I'm actually really well off.
Well, that's actually like, you know, reality TV or whatever, whether it's something like, you know, whatever, just like trashy TV. Everyone says like, oh, you know, there's no reason to watch that. Like, why are you wasting your time? That type of content, like drama content, that serves a very valuable function, which is making people feel good about their life in comparison.
It's the opposite of what Joseph Everett was talking about, which is one of the ways to increase your testosterone is the winner effect, is feel like you're doing better than other people. And when you look on Instagram at all these successful people, you think because of Dunbar's number, this is my tribe and everyone's a trillionaire and why I only have 6 figures in the bank. So you're crushing it, but I see what you're doing. This is great.
I love Love Island. It's just on and then I'm like, my life is great.
I'm not them.
Yeah, truly. No, that's it. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. It's also a very arrogant way of, I think, if I think about, oh, I'm just going to look at people who are worse off than me and just being like, thank God I'm not you.
You could apply this with a lot darker things than Love Island, though. You could watch war documentaries and go, hey, at least I'm not those orphans. You could turn on any number of things.
I mean, it works. It truly works. I think the happiest you'll ever be is, you know, you have all the symptoms of having cancer or, you know, something else that's horrible, and just realizing you don't have it. You get the diagnosis, hey, everything's good. Like the relief, right? And I think you can give yourself that relief by just, instead of looking up on like, hey, this is how things could be, and, you know, I could be grateful for this. Just like looking down, things could be so horrible. Thank God they aren't.
2 things on that. One, that's why like the back pain is so, like the psychosomatic back pain. I had that because when I realized like, oh, it's psychosomatic, and I read that book, and then I was like, stop having back pain. And then I actually did. I was like, oh my God, I was worried I had like a herniated disc or something. And then I didn't. And I'm like, woo.
And, you know, people make fun of that clip from Gary Vee where he says, I literally imagine one of the people I love the most getting shot in the face. And it's so easy to make fun of, but it's effective. He's onto something. 100% it's effective.
That's what Joe Rogan says when he works out and he feels like he's not working out with enough intensity. He imagines that he's killing pedophiles.
Really? He said that?
Yeah. He's like, I feel like I'm hunting down murderers. When I was a camp counselor, we'd have to do drills. Like you'd have to do missing persons drills, but they would never tell you if it was a drill or if like a kid actually went missing or drowned or something. And when the drill starts, you have to like, someone has to sprint the perimeter of the whole thing, and it's like a mile-long run, and you're looking like under every tree and everything, like trying to find. And so they never tell you if it was real. And so my job was to be a runner, and I'm like, there's a dead kid somewhere. I'm just like sprinting faster than I ever ran.
Oh, when you're running?
And I'm just like,
John, why do you keep lifting all these trees? There might be a kid under there. Yeah, but even if there was a kid under there, it's going to be too late. Like,
it's too late.
It's squished. Why would you look under a tree?
The winner effect, I feel like that's why it's important to have anti-role models too. Like we all have role models, like maybe, I don't know, maybe it's Gary Vee or Alex Hormozy if you're a business guy, right? Like I want to be like them, and that's what success looks like to me. But it's also like, who's that person from maybe your hometown who things didn't go their way, and you're kind of like them a little bit. You have a lot. I'm thinking of a few people. I won't name them, but like there are a few people I'm like, oh, I'm very similar to them. I have the same vices or bad habits as them, and they're kind of fucked. Like it's like I'm glad I'm not them, but like in 5 years I could be if I don't get it together. Like that's a problem.
Yeah, I don't want to name any names either. Brad Lancaster from Discover Connection. That guy, train wreck. Yeah. Another idea that I thought about too is, I think the go-to thing is you want to maximize the results you have, right? So if you're like, hey, I'm not really happy where I'm at, I want to make more money, I want to be more fit, I want to improve my relationships, I want to get new friends, whatever it is, right? Whatever bottleneck to happiness you think you have. I think basically all of us, if you thought about happiness as a scale from 1 to 100, I think all of us are pretty much at like 95 in terms of what we need to be so ecstatically happy that we could wake up every day and be like, oh my God, I live in heaven. And it doesn't matter if you have $1 million or if you have 10K saved up or barely any money. And so instead of increasing results or things that will lead you to happiness that might get you from 95 to a 96, I think how much of that are you accessing? So there's a scale from 1 to 100 on what you have in order to be happy. And that's already at 95. But then there's also a scale from 1 to whatever your number is. Let's say it's 95, 1 to 95, on how much of that you can access. It's like having testosterone and then free testosterone, right? Which is the testosterone that you actually are impacted by, as far as I know. It's like being bro scientist here, but it's like how much money do you have in your bank account and how much of that money do you actually have access to, right? And I think, I think unless you are in extreme poverty and you don't have a home and you're on the streets or whatever, if you have food and shelter and people, like you already have everything you need. Getting better friends, becoming more successful is not going to make you more happy. And so if you want to increase your happiness, it's more about increasing your ability to access that. So it's like the difference between having a maximizer mindset and a satisfizer mindset. I don't know if I came up with that, but this is in my notes, and I was like, I think this would be something interesting to talk about. So, because if you think about it, we live in such luxury. But when you see that, like, I'm not drawn to luxury in general. When I see like fancy hotels and supercars, I'm like, I don't really want that. It's not really that exciting to me. It'd be cool, but
yeah, same.
But if you think about it, you have a spa at home. Like having a hot shower at home, like every day you can get into that thing, and it feels so good. It covers your body in warm water, and you just so relaxed, and you have these shower thoughts, and you can do that anytime, and it's so cheap. It's a spa. You have a spa at home, and I think increasing happiness mostly is just about accessing more. And we're at 95%, and it can get so much worse. It can only get a tiny bit better, because even if you made $1 million a year, what's really going to be better? Like, is the food going to be that much better? Are the people going to be that much better? Probably not, actually. Are you going to feel better in your body? Not really. You're already 95% there. So, I've noticed my gratitude, my happiness, it's gone way up compared to when I was 20. I was so negative, and I just retrained my brain to be positive. One of the key things I did was I did a 7-day challenge, a no complaining challenge. But it was one where I forced myself, okay, for 7 days, everything I think about, the moment I notice it, I have to spin it into the most happy, delusional thing. And dude, it was incredible. It was really difficult, but I went out with a friend that week, and that was like 10 years ago. And he, to this day, if I asked him, he would tell me, dude, that was one of the best nights of my life. Because he was just around me, and I would force him to be like, no, how's this the best thing? Like, man, we're on a spinning rock. Like, this is incredible. And you can do this experiment where you just delusionally think of life being the best thing ever. And imagine you were dead and you were brought back to life. And you're like, hey, you have another week to live. You would enjoy everything. Why can't you do that now? It's a lot of work, but once you get into a flow, you can reach an ecstatic feeling of just, oh my God, I can't believe it. I have this desk. This is my thing. I have this. I can go outside the sun. I can feel the sun. I have dude, I gotta call my friend. Not Brad. He sucks. But
need chest tips.
Just something I've been thinking about. What do you think about that?
I think that's worth doing. If I did a 1 week no complaining challenge, I would immediately complain about not being allowed to complain, which means I should probably try this challenge out.
Yeah, and maybe not even no complaining, but delusional, ecstatic reframing. Like unreasonable. Yes. And you can always find a sliver in truth. a sliver of truth in everything, right? So you could say the most delusional thing, but it could still be true, and you can find truth in it. And yeah, and maybe don't even find any truth in it. Maybe just go full delusional and just see how it affects your well-being and how you feel. And just do it for a day. And you can do this for happiness and how joyful you are and how grateful you are. But you can also do this for confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do emails, or you could just do something you do all the time, write an essay, or script a video, whatever, like whatever you're working on, and just every line you're writing, you're like, damn, this is gonna change the world. People don't know. I just had access to God, and He flows through me and into my fingertips, onto the keyboard, into this digital script here. This is the new 10 commandments that I'm about to write down here. People have no idea what's going to hit them. Dude, this is going to be so good. And oh my God, what I just wrote. This is so...
So what you're saying is act like Kanye releasing a new album.
100%. 100%. It's just an experiment, right? It's not a way of living forever, but experiment with it. It's almost like allow yourself to put on these clothes, and you can take them off again later. But just wear these clothes for a day. Try it on.
I think it's worth doing. The way that kind of shows up for me is like my birthday's coming up in how many days? I'm on the 31st. It's 26, so five days, I guess. And like my fiance's always asking me like, what do you want to do for your birthday? What do you want? And I'm like, I don't know. My days are pretty good. Like we can go see a movie, you know? And like, I'm truly like the fact that that's what comes out of my mouth. Like I'm so grateful because I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll take an hour or two off work and go do something I wouldn't normally do, like go see a movie. But basically, like, I don't know, my life has so few problems that I don't need to like go somewhere to escape. I don't need like crazy presents because I'm like lacking things I need or want. It's like I'm doing okay. And not everyone, unfortunately, can say that. And that kind of, you know, that sucks. And hopefully everyone can get to that point. But like, I feel like that's a good test. If like, if your birthday was just a normal day, would that bum you out? And it wouldn't bum me out. Most of my normal days are pretty great.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. It's like the idea that, well, what do you want your life to look like in 10 years? And not in terms of the best day of your life, but the average Tuesday. I think Tim Ferriss also talked about that. That's his idea. Yeah, that's great. So if you want to do that, this challenge of not just no complaining, but delusional positivity, my suggestion is share this with someone that you spend a lot of time with. Could be a spouse, could be a friend, or it's just someone you talk to on a regular basis, or someone you just link up with, and just share them this video or this idea, share it with them, and commit to it for a day, for 24 hours, for an afternoon. And if you do it going out or just hanging out with friends, you will have one of the, if you commit to it and they commit to it, you will have one of the best experiences of your life. And it'll show you the power of your mind and how you reframe things. And then I think it's a good practice to repeat every once in a while to remind yourself of how much your thoughts affect your behavior and your beliefs and the reality you live in. So share it with a friend. Tell us what you think of the episodes, and see you again very soon.
Bye-bye.